Peace Committee met with the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, in Abuja last night, asking him in very simple terms to accept defeat and move on. Will this work? What are the issues around it? Joining us to continue the conversation on Nigeria Decides is Soje Ogenebudwe, political analyst. Thank you very much for coming in. And of course, Tuboso joins us again. Akeju,
yes,
thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I'll start with you, Mr. Soje. Abdulsalam Abubakar, former head of state, met also with the vice president of the country after he had met with the presidential candidates of the PDP. He also met with Peter Obi and the rest of them. You know, apparently this meeting was meant to douse tension. But what positive impacts will this meeting make? One, knowing that Atiku Abubakar has resolved that he was going to take this matter to court because he feels that he has enough proof to show that this election was marred by all sorts. Do you think that a peace meeting would do anything? Would it change his mind? Would it make him have a rethink? What do you think?
Fortunately, it's going to happen. You cannot read the minds of politicians. Atiku has been a man that has been hopping from one end to another, and you don't know the state of mind is when that pressure comes on him. I just acquiesce and says, okay, if this is going to happen, because there's also the fear that with the victory of the the incumbent government, there's going to be some. I don't see the word come out with a vengeance on people that now have the powers that have been reinforced. So that fear can also make people to compromise and do anything. So for Atiku, as a politician, he might just give in in a very short time if the pressure comes from him, particularly comes from those people, and because he's from also the northern part of the country. It depends on what he wants. Jonathan decided then that I'm not going to court, even though the party wanted, and that was the end. But pressure people on Atiku. Now Atiku is going to, if he decides that I'm not going anymore, and that will be the end. But I have my reservation about the peace committee. I don't know why they have to do that. Why they are doing that is something that. Well,
they're saying that the reason why they decided to go to toe this line is because they feel that they sense some tension in the country, which might, if not necessarily addressed early, might spiral out of control, and they're preempting, and they're saying, like, let's probably do the right thing.
No, there's nothing good that is wrong is going to court. They're not planning anything devious. We're going to court, as the current president said in his time, that in the last 3 times considered before he won the election 2015, in all the elections, he went to court, to the highest, to the Supreme Court. So I don't know why people are saying don't go to court. If you go to court, it's part of the test for democracy, and we'll learn from it. It doesn't have to, like in previous cases, the Supreme Court adjourn all the cases, sign die. They finish and they don't give any judgment. They let it be because they want to. Either they don't want to upturn the apple cart to create any problem, or they just think that there's no need. That has been the trend in all the cases by Buhari. So let him go to court, test the instrument of the judiciary, and if it doesn't have to, nobody's going to die from it. So that they are coming from, this man did it, and this man wants to do it and say, don't go. Is that presupposed that they know that something is wrong, and that if you went this far, if you went this route, you're going to bring, you're going to upset the apple cart at the end. So for that reason, let's nip it in the bud, put pressure on him, compromise, give him some things, maybe give him a contract, return his, he has been, his businesses have been affected during the campaign because his contracts, his businesses were really attacked. So he might just give in and said, okay, if this, conditions like we heard he has given, that if you did that, if you release people that you have detained, if you probably under the table, give me my businesses back, what I've done, then I can acquiesce.
You seem really, really suspicious of this National Peace Committee. Would it be that, they're just trying to, like Marianne said, try and manage a situation that is seem might be going out of control without necessarily having an ulterior motive. Maybe to say, okay, in case this is what you wanted to do, can you just, you know, take it gently? Is that such a bad call? Or shouldn't we be asking whether these are the right people, the people that went for the peace meeting, are they the right people to, you know, go for that meeting? Let me bring it to you. They've also met with Buhari, by the way.
I think that we're, focusing a bit on the wrong thing. Allow me to say that. Because why are you asking Atiku not to go to court? I think what we should focus on...
I don't think they actually asked him not to go to court. I think, like, the offshoot of that meeting, what we read in the papers was that Mary Ann actually pointed it out, that there seemed to be tension, just to douse tension at the moment.
But they're also saying he should accept it.
So if you accept, then you really can't go to court again. I think that the most important thing at the moment is to is to go for a process that will build trust in the electoral system. And I don't think pushing or pressuring any candidate to accept where he thinks is questionable is the right way to go. I like to draw parallels. So I would give a very funny example. I applied for a professional course, and they put me on the level, and I was about to pay, and something in me just said, oh, question why they're asking you to go for this level with your years of experience and the amount of work you've done, which I don't think is much, but I went ahead and put a call through to them, and they said, oh, what process did you go through to arrive at this? And then they told me, oh, it's because you don't have this background and all of that. But yes, your years, I was like, oh, but my years of experience, oh yeah, your years of experience, and go for it. And then they said, okay, you know what? I'll send you a link, do a test, and let's see. I did the test, and I was qualified for the next level. So if someone came to me and pressured me and said, oh, but while I was writing the test, however, I discovered that the test came out. I discovered that there were technical things I knew, and there were things that I didn't know. So I was good at experience, but weak in technical terms. And the result did show that. So if you go to court, there are certain things that will become, you will go through a thorough process of building your case. So I don't think that's what we should focus on. I think what we should focus on is to continue to engage in such a way that puts the candidate in a position where all we are saying is that we want to strengthen an electoral process. So the things that I feel they should be pushing Atiku to do is to use the right words, to use, you know, to not say anything that will hit up the polity. Because at the end of the day, you know, if the polity is heated up, you are not going to be able to even get the court to do the right thing.
Okay, so this same, not to try to make them look bad in any way, but these same group of people made these contestants or candidates to sign a peace pact saying you will not allow your party men and women to carry out any acts of violence. But hello, we're here again talking about the same acts of violence either perpetrated by allegedly security operatives or certain people burning ballot. So again, not in any way trying to make them look bad, but if these politicians did not necessarily take the peace pacts seriously, why do you think that they would heed to whatever you have to say right now, even for somebody like an Atiku who is bent on making sure that he proves that this election was not free, fair, and credible? Back to you, Mr. Sojay.
There's no gainsaying that the peace pact was actually signed. Violence was perpetrated during the election, even though it's been subdued and said it's few and far in between, it's not significant. But the reports coming up every day, we know that a lot of things went in. And a lot of technicalities that are already happening in the system that if we don't go to court, we'll continue to remain in the same position when we're supposed to be improving. The aftermath of the election, there seems not to be, there's a state of anomy. People are just either shocked that, oh, so we won. They couldn't even celebrate. Or the other said, did we really lose? And that we know that we didn't lose. Something went wrong. We're going to deal with it. And the only way, rather than go to the streets He said, let's follow the due process. And like Tuboson said, it's going to strengthen our democracy. It's going to strengthen the electoral process. It's going to build trust in the people in the electorate. Said, today there is going to be worse voters turnout in next elections because people, if it doesn't happen, people are already becoming not ready to vote again because they didn't think that their votes counted. And so how do we build that trust again? But there's a saying that the man is going to court, the court is going to take care of it, whether it ends up in any form at the end of the day. That alone will douse whatever tension that they think that they want to douse.
Should I even quickly add to what you were saying? I'm not even of the school of thought that allowing the issue to go to court looks like you stand a chance to kick the issue down the road and finally kick it away, because asking him to accept now could make some other people feel, oh, he was pressured into accepting, and then they're angry, we're going to fight on his behalf. Oh, asking him, oh, go to court. I mean, when I look at the heat map of the election, to be very sincere, if you put it side by side with 2015, when President Buhari won against President Jonathan, then you'd see that the difference between then and now is not so much in terms of, an eagle-eye view. As a matter of fact, the PDP actually gained more ground. But it's the same areas where he won, where President Buhari won, is the same area where he won again. So the pattern is there. But when you are able to show empirically, and you bring a third party in that, oh, this is what we've been able to do.
Well, with what the evidence that, because Atiku has actually, when he made that statement, he shared some links to videos of alleged violence. Do you think with what he has presented, there might be more, but with what he has presented, do you think that he does have a case?
I'm not a lawyer. I don't have all the evidences.
Yeah, but based on what he has presented to us, in your layman opinion?
In my opinion, I do not think that what I've seen is enough. But I also know that it will not show everything at this stage.
Well, he did say that they preempted the APC was going to somewhat rig this election. So they sent men to the field with body cams, and that is pending when they go to court, that they have more evidence
yes,
to prove. So that means that he has something in his arsenal ready to shoot.
Like you said, yes. Like when election results were being announced, Atiku was issued a tweet saying that, please don't announce the results. Don't, that we should not, PDP's stronghold should not be announcing the results that they won, that they are going to be giving the opposition, the party, the APC, pre-information to know where they're coming from. Because so he had information and saying, I'll go to court and present my evidence. If I presented it there, let them discard it. But I have record, like you said, they prepare. Atiku knows the people. Atiku is a very strong politician. He knows his onions in politics. He's been in it for over 20, almost 30 years. From June 12, 1993, he's been there. So he understands the system. He was in APC. He understood how things are done. He knew their strategy, what they would do. So he prepared for it. Like you said, when body comes. And we are also hearing that results were written. There were no elections. And in every evidence that we've had, there couldn't have been 100% returns in certain areas. It defies the law of nature to say certain areas people came out and voted 100%, while others were not allowed to vote. There was no, and there was no single, there's a House of Ref member from Borno State, a lady, who says, this is what happened. There was no election. So it's coming from the inside. So how are we going to get this state? Should we just sweep under the carpet and say, wait for the next time? It will continue in that form. People, there will continue to be voters apathy, to drop, and elections will become 200 million people will only be will now select government with 10 million, and it will be wrong for a nation to make progress in that guy.
Okay,
so
let's talk about the courts. I'm more interested in the courts because there also have been people in certain quarters who have said that, well, the drama that happened between the presidency and the CJN also could be a strategy that may mar Atiku's chances in court. Again, the fact that our judicial processes are a little skewed, permit me to use that word, is also a concern in, you know, Atiku going to court. And people are saying it might not necessarily work in his favor. What do you think?
So I think that we are finally getting to what the real issues are. I think the trust in the judiciary is the main problem that everyone is probably dealing with here. Why we have that problem, I really don't know. But what is important is for us to ensure that, number one, we have systems that are in place and are trustworthy. So if there's a problem with the judiciary and we don't have trust in it, it's going to manifest in different ways. So I think that's the first thing to address, not the symptoms, because that's what we're doing by asking someone not to go through the process. Let's fix the process and let people be able to go through it.
What will happen at the end of the day is that it will also expose the problems we have in the judiciary. What are the outcome of the court case? There is suspicion now that because the CGM was removed, it was a strategic move, and that the current people on the bench may just pander to the current government for fear of whatever reasons. But I think that let's see it out. Let's see it out, and our electoral system, our institutions will be better for it.
All right. Thank you very much, Soje Ogene Riobore. Thank you very much. I hope I didn't murder your name out.
We tried our best.
To Wasu Kenju, Reputation Manager, thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
I guess that's where we're going to wrap things up today.
Yes, thank you so much for staying with us on Nigeria Decides tonight. When we return on Monday, we will be counting down to the gubernatorial elections across the country. I am Mary Anna Cole.
And I'm Felicity Ezewike. Have a good evening.